Well, all right. It is Monday, May 20th, and I've wrapped up for the day. 2 on 1 for the day. Took the opening trade, New York Open on evaluation 41, and made $414. Traded that with 4 contracts. And so that brought my balance here to 52,271. So a little more than 700 to pass that one. And then went 1 on 1 today on the 1 minute chart. Basically took a long here, it failed, and so I took the other direction. And that worked pretty quickly. So between the loss and the win, it was basically a break even between the 1 and 1. So I just lost commissions. 1 contract on PA10, lost the commission 796, and evaluation 40. Traded, I think, 4 contracts on that. So with the commissions, it was minus 3184. And that was it. It was just really kind of, we had this huge push up after the open, and then it was just really choppy. The rest of the day, we had one strong push out of it. And then, as we can see, we sold off and came back. And really just kind of a hard day to read. Not a lot of great looking opportunities. There were a couple. There was definitely 1 or 2 that I could have taken. One I missed and one I just didn't take. Wasn't confident. So let's get into the trades real quick and talk about that. And then maybe I'll just do one final thing about Apex and their rules. And I'll do that after the trades. So if you want to hear my thoughts, stick around for just a couple minutes here. All right, so here we go. This is the 1 minute chart, and basically it was just really sideways most of the overnight session. And then when I came in to the chart here, this is basically the way I saw it. Let's make this bigger, right? So this is what I was looking at. Essentially, obviously I'm hoping that it stays in this range right into the open, but it didn't do that. And this was coming into the open. And so by the time price was down here and it was about to open, I definitely didn't want to get triggered short. We were right at the previous day close, which is this dashed blue line, and the session low is just right below. So I wasn't playing the downside at all. I just wanted the upside. And for me, I prefer to play it wider. So I didn't want to be anywhere above these bars because you could get tricked and trapped either way. You could get trapped here and it can end up going down and retest the lows, or want to retest the previous day close. Technically there's still, well, actually no, technically this was open right here, so we closed the gap and then it rocketed. So to me the long play was the play, but I just didn't want to be under the EMA entering. I didn't want to be below this entering, getting bouncing off the previous support as resistance, or the previous resistance staying resistance, and then I wanted to be above basically this area here. So my entry was way up here, and I figured if it reaches this, then it's going to go, and that's what it did. So that was a pretty straightforward, easy trade. I mean, obviously, I would have passed the evaluation if I just went for more than 22 ticks in this case, but just playing it on the safe side. And then we had 2 strong legs up, and then we just went into this range, and it was like one tight range. You can see this tight green range, and then we went to this kind of like purple tight range and broke out of that, constantly making new highs as we go. And then a nice sell off, and then found what looked to be a bigger range, and we were in this yellow range for a bit. We broke out of that, then we went back up, and it was really just choppy back and forth, and just really hard to find a good trade, good setup to take a direction. There was one that I did like somewhere here. There was a first entry long, second entry long, and this was like a higher low. But I didn't like that this candle closed right below the EMA. And, I just didn't trust taking it above. But if I also looked at it like a first entry short, second entry short, trigger above the EMA, maybe that could have got me onto it more. But that was the one I skipped. I called it out. I said I wanted a higher low, and I just wanted the bar to close up here, and then I would have taken it. So I couldn't get into that one. went all the way up here. Again, a little bit of a kind of rangy kind of feel to the action. And then let me switch accounts here. All right, here we go. So then this bar came down and then engulfed this bar. I liked it because it was kind of like a first entry long, second entry long at a, pretty solid reaction here. So I figured maybe we can get enough of a bounce. I was just going to take off my profit at the top of this wick. But it trapped me in. And so when I saw it come back down and fail, I decided to get in. This is where my stop was on the long. I got taken out. And so then I entered the short here. And once this candle went below this bar, this thing shot down. So I actually was thinking about lowering my profit target, on the chart, going for more profit target. And this thing shot down so fast once it went below this wick that even my order was like stuck there for like a good 20 seconds or something. So that would have been a great trade. Basically, my loss here, I just got it back exactly here. One more tick would have covered commissions. So it just worked out like that. I wasn't just trying to get break even. I actually did think about lowering moving the profit target, the take profit all the way down here. And if this reaction had happened a little bit slower and if it was working down, I probably would have pulled it down and then moved my stop. But this thing happened in a flash. It was really fast. So that was it. And then we just ended up in this range. And I think I did try to take this trade here and it just didn't pick me up. Went too fast. So that was really it. And then this is the live market. So that's kind of the story of today. Felt like a good day. I was fine with this trade, taking on the 1 minute. And obviously when it didn't work, I really liked this trade a lot because I figured, we had all this room, back. So I really liked that trade once I was in it. Wish I went for more, but that's the way it goes. At least it nullified the loss, the loss here. And just basically my balances are exactly the same essentially as they were at the start of the day. So all good. I'm going to be looking to try to pass these 2 evaluations, hopefully within the next day or 2, if all goes well. And then obviously PA10, I don't have a lot of high hopes for it, but I'm just going to copy trade it 1 contract at a time and see if I can build it up. Hopefully I'll get a couple more PAs behind that. And then just talking about the Apex rules, they ended up backtracking a little bit after the close of the market, I think it was, or definitely after I was finished trading for the day on Friday. But I think it was after market close even. They put out some more videos. They kind of even put out some more updated frequently asked questions section about consistency where they put everything together and just saying, what they want to see and what they don't want to see. And obviously it still, very much looks like it's geared towards Alpine largely, maybe a little bit trade by Matt with the stop situation. The way I see it is they just handled it really poorly. I don't know who handles their, their kind of, I don't know how you want to handle it. Talk about it. The, how they handle the publicity or the marketing of their rules, and really, I guess it's customer relations, right? Like their customer relations is pretty poor. I gotta say, they used to be much better when they were a smaller company, and then as they've grown, they've really just kind of lost sight of their relationship with their customers, I would say. There was definitely a better way to handle the whole rollout of their reinforcing their guidelines and their rules, and they just really failed. And then the thing that's even more disappointing is not only that they fail and they kind of backtracked, they came out with these rules that they made everyone, click a box and sign to agree to when they got into their accounts. Just going onto the website with no kind of pre-warning, no kind of hey, this is what's going on, just so you guys know, don't freak out when you see this, but we're just kind of clarifying our rules and our guidelines. There was nothing. It was just, here's a 90% discount. And then, by the way, I'm not going to say anything about any kind of guidelines or rules update, which is, just poorly handled. And then they backtrack. They backtrack. You don't have to put a stop on your chart when the rules very much that they put out very much stated that you do, with a take profit and a stop order exit. And so they backtracked and said, well, it doesn't really have to be, on the chart as long as you have a mental stop loss. And then they kind of backtracked about the 3-to-1. They kind of said, oh, well, it could be 4-to-1. And then they, admitted, well, it's not really by each trade. It's really more just when you ask for a payout, what your losses look like in terms of like your chart over however many days you traded before you requested the payout. So really, just poorly handled. And then, it's the tone of the video is just really patronizing, and, really just kind of like we're the ones that did something wrong if we were trading the way we were trading, whoever it was. I mean, I've got no payout, so they're not talking to me, right? But, whether it's Alpine or anyone else, it's kind of like they're pointing the finger saying, oh, you were taking advantage, you were scamming, you were scheming, you were doing all these things. And they're not scamming or scheming. Someone like Alpine, he's not scamming or scheming. He's doing it right out in the open. He's trading on YouTube for months and months and months, gaining a following. And then a lot of people caught wind, like, oh, look at how he's trading. And if he can trade like that, I'm going to trade like that too. And, if Apex isn't going to enforce the rules, that's on Apex. That's not on the trader. If they have rules in place and they don't enforce them, obviously people are going to trade, the way they can best trade to have an edge and try to make money. So, that's a failure on Apex's behalf. And so their tone in the video, whoever that guy is that does the video, just really, I got to say, I would recommend to them, when they put out videos, they should have someone that's not so emotionally attached to their company that does the videos, because he clearly is like, reacting emotionally, and he's kind of like the teacher standing at the front of the class pointing his finger saying, you knew the rules and you shouldn't have broken them. But, Apex knows the rules too. And if you're lenient on the rules to the point where you're giving hundreds of thousands of dollars out to somebody who's trading publicly on YouTube, and we can all see that you're not enforcing the rules, and of course we're all going to do the same thing, right? So anyway, that's kind of my take on it. I still think Apex overall is a good company, and I'm still trading with them. I think for whatever reasons, they have their reasons where they feel like they need to, enforce the rules, and that's their right. They can and should enforce their rules. Just the rollout was just really poor. And, I hope that they can clean that up in the future, because there's been a couple times now where they've kind of, what is this? They've kind of failed on the rollout of these sorts of things. They failed when they tried to implement a safety net rule, and they failed this time. And really at the end of the day, they're like, I don't know why everyone's freaking out. The rules were always the rules, and nothing's really changed. But the reality is they put that out there. They made us sign it. It was in writing, and they put things like the stop has to be on the screen. I mean, maybe it didn't verbatim say it that way, but that was the implication. And so, yeah, of course, people are going to react to that. And they would have been way better off just saying, hey, here's a 90% off, and we're going to be updating the rules and the guidelines. We're going to be putting it out. So just so you know, be aware of it. There's going to be some documentation coming out that we want you to sign. And but just know that the rules aren't really changing here. We're just saying that we're going to enforce the rules better. We're putting an enforcement team in place. And we just want you to be aware that it's going to be, we're going to really look a little bit closer at what you're doing when you request a payout. If they had done that and kind of pre-warned with a little bit of a preamble, I think it wouldn't have been such a big deal. And quite frankly, I mean, the funny thing is I think Alpine Trader is probably the one that's been affected the most by all of this. Maybe Velocity too out there. Obviously they're trying to take the orb off the table the best they can, and that's really pointed at those two guys directly, as well as treating the account like the stop loss. That's what they're really getting at. They don't want you to just treat the account like a stop loss. I mean, Alpine's taking it really well. I think he's going to just adjust and try to figure out how to trade according to what what their intent is for the rules. And I think it's funny because he's the one that's probably affected the most, and he had the least reaction to it, which kind of makes you think like, hey, they probably could have just reached out to him and said, hey man, you're doing this on YouTube, can you chill out? We're not enforcing the rules stiffly, but we're going to have to if you keep this up and get everyone to trade the way you're trading. So anyway, that's just kind of my take on it, the way I see it. They clearly, in my opinion, put out the 90% discount and the promos that they put out, to soften the blow of their reinforcement. I don't know, just handled poorly. I still think Apex is one of the best prop firms around. They're the only ones I trade with personally, and I'm going to continue to trade with them. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, I haven't been able to even request a payout yet. So at the point that I can request a payout, we'll see what happens. Hopefully that'll happen at some point. And, if they become, more of like a my funded futures kind of prop firm where they're really picking apart everything and looking for ways to not pay out, even though they say that they're not so stringent with the rules. Well, we'll see. And then if I have to move on from Apex at some point, I will. But right now, I don't see any reason to. It seems like they're just trying to reinforce, like they don't want people taking advantage of their leniency on the rules, and they want people to trade by the rules. And but they still hopefully want to maintain their culture that they've had from the beginning, which is to be the easiest prop firm to trade with to get to payouts. And even though it's been easy for a lot of people to get payouts, it hasn't been easy for me. I've had 10 PAs now and I have no payouts. So I still need to figure out how to make that happen. I'm still working on that. So obviously it's not like it's just a walk in the park. But at the end of the day, the mentality is still the mentality, right? I mean, the reality is for $200 or less, for the most part, you can acquire a PA. And, if you're trading the live market, a lot of times one trade will be $200. So instead of one trade being $200, you can trade multiple trades with your PA account. And they just don't want you to lose the whole thing in one go, right? All right, fair enough. I can live with that. So anyway, that's my take on it. I really don't think it's a big deal. I just think they just miscalculated. I think their customer relations department could use some help in terms of how they roll out these sorts of things. And, they've misstepped a number of times in a row, and maybe they need to, potentially look for someone that puts things out a little bit more clearly. There's a lot of typos, there's a lot of misprints in the documentation, and then the tone of their videos just isn't helpful. The patronizing tone, condescending tone is, really, really pretty silly, honestly. We're all adults. Maybe they're dealing with some bigger problems. Maybe there are really some schemers and people that are really breaking the rules and knowingly breaking the rules in a big way and taking advantage and really violating the terms of service. But I don't think Alpine was one of those people. I think Alpine just looked for an edge and said, oh, they're paying out, I'm going to trade this way. If they stop paying out, then I'll adjust. And that's what he's doing now. And you can't blame him or anybody else for doing that. If they're going to approve payouts, that's on them. So they really just hopefully will get their act together and work on their customer relationship department, and I think that would help. So anyway, I still recommend them. They still have the 90% going on. You can use this code or any other. And the 250K promo is still going on till the end of the month. 90% is till Thursday. And one day pass continues, I believe, to the end of the month. And so for me, I'm 19-3 on the orb, 2-1 on the day, and 227 wins, 54 losses on the year, 81%. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. Try to pass a couple more of these evaluations, and then my plan is to probably cancel all these evaluations that are going to renew at 80% and just pick up some new 90%. So right now I'm focused on these two evaluations, trying to pass them, and then hopefully I'll get those passed before Thursday, and then I'll pick up however many more evaluations I want to pick up that I want to try to pass inside the first month. And then I'm kind of thinking like whatever amount of PAs I have from those 90% discount evaluations I pass. Like if I can't get a payout in however many more of those PAs I have at that point, maybe I got to rethink things. But I'm going to give it at least one final push to see if I can get a payout. One payout, I'm really just barely slightly red. I mean, I'll have more PA fees, so I guess I'll still be pretty red. But it's only going to be, 1,000 to 2,000 in the red after one payout. So, if I can manage to get a payout and then maybe another payout, maybe they'll keep me going. If I can't manage to get a payout relatively soon, then I got to rethink what I'm doing here and whether this is the best thing for me. So I'm just going to, especially if Apex is changing their culture, then I have to figure out what I want to do next. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of what I've been thinking about over the weekend. And I think my trading is good. I think my reads on the market, it's pretty good. There was no opportunity today for trading my BS system on tick charts. And it just the BS system, the tick charts just haven't been looking good lately for the last week or two. Just really hasn't been solid. So I'm glad I'm getting more comfortable trading on the 1 minute chart. And the more I trade on it, the more I kind of feel like maybe I don't even need the BS system. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep putting the charts up and keep watching them. And if there's opportunities, I'll take them. And if there's opportunities on the 1 minute chart, I'll take those. And we'll just see where this goes as I move forward here. I'm still in the game and hoping something good will come up here soon. So I think I've said it all. Appreciate anyone that's liked and subscribed recently. I'm hoping I can turn the corner here at some point soon. But you can see my stats aren't too bad, 81%, but 81% is not getting me to a payout. So I still need to improve. I think it's been circumstantial. Just when I've been taking losses on my PAs, it's just the timing of when things happen, or, I took some losses on the orb where I was risking the whole account. So I won't be doing that anymore. Maybe that ultimately will help me, that new rule. So having said all that, I think I've said it all, and I appreciate the likes and subscribes. And I will be live streaming. I might just start live streaming for the New York Open and just do it that way. There's kind of no reason not to at this point. There's nothing to protect, and I can show that I'm trading according to their rules. So that's probably what I'll do. So be on the lookout for me maybe at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. I think I might make a change. So let's see. Or I guess it'll be 9:25. Let's say. So look for me there. That's what I'm thinking. I'm still so tired when I start at that time. So maybe I won't be very talkative. Oh, by the way, it turned out that I guess my audio wasn't working today. I didn't notice it like the whole stream until towards the end. So sorry for that. No audio on the stream today, but I think I figured it out. Hopefully the audio is here on this video, and hopefully I get the audio working tomorrow as well. I think what happened was I updated my OBS and something happened where one of the settings got changed. So all right, I think I've said it all. Appreciate you watching. Hope you had a good trading day and a good weekend, and let's get it. Let's make it a good week. Be back at it tomorrow.